Some professional Starcraft 2. Today, we're going to be looking through the eyes of a pro gamer. One of the best defensive Protoss players, macro Protoss players in the business. Earning himself quite a nickname. The German Protoss player, D. Mauer, the Berlin Wall. It's showtime. Now, I mean, what is this game against? You just want to show him off. The GSL Champion, TY. On the other side. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we don't know. I guess we're starting off strong. I was recommended this match. And also, I wanted to show Protoss players, especially in the new patch. This isn't on the new patch, but I think a lot of Protoss players could use a look. From what I've seen from your replays. Showtime Scouts. But we're going to be watching his first-person perspective, which means, obviously, he doesn't see the production tab or his opponent's supply. But this so we can get an idea of what he's looking for, why he's doing it, and what he's prioritizing. Now, there's a chance that TY just kind of walks over him like he did the GSL Finals. But, alright, a Marine comes up. TY not shying away. A bunker on the low ground. Because he knows most Protoss players put things there. But Showtime has a zealot. He scouted early with a probe, saw the gas and the lack of barracks. He had an idea of what was going down. Just 3 probes used here to help box down. So far, Showtime doing a great job. He almost killed the SCV on the bunker right there. So far. He's holding, like, he wanted to expand. He now sees TY kind of slowing this down. A battery on the high ground as well. I think an important thing to look at, maybe not this exact second, but as the game goes on, is going to be the selection. But oh, what a snipe! But he loses the Stalker. Was that both SCVs is the question. He's whittled down the Marine count as well. Losing a Stalker to make it so you don't have a bunker. Showtime. I stopped the bunker. I scouted what he's doing on the other side. It's 2 racks. I got 2 SCVs. Oh, wait, did I? Did he kill 2 SCVs? He did. But another one comes up and finishes the bunker. This is actually... I don't think Showtime expected TY to commit quite this hard. Now, 4 Marines in a bunker aren't going to kill the Nexus before... Well, they might kill it slightly before it finishes. It's like... Oh, using the shield battery from the high ground to reshield the Stalkers on the low? Kiting back and forth in between attacks. This is still dangerous. Yeah, I don't know. It was a little greedy to just take the Expo without ensuring the bunker wasn't going to be completed by a single SCV. 3 Stalkers, though. The bunker's burning. He's out DPSing the repair. The Marines are already pulling back, trying to dodge into the bunker. It does appear here, Showtime. A solid defense. The Nexus finishes. He was supply blocked for a split second, but the Nexus is 2 pylons worth of supply. You see there, he kept his cool under, like, that's a lot of pressure. TY is building bunkers outside of your, like, at your base. In Showtime, not only does he defend coolly, but he slaps a Nexus right next to the bunker. That is a strong understanding as well as confidence. He's already got a robotics facility done here. A Warp Prism is on the way. Robo Bay is the choice. Almost on 1 base. Will this be for Disruptor? The worker count, I'm just going to jump over. 39 probes! Oh, wait. Oh, no. He was not ready for this. Uh-oh. Showtime just did not factor this in. That's a bad hit there. Oh, no. And this is one of the toughest parts of PvT. It's just being ready for every angle of potential damage. Yeah, the Hellion. 7 probes. As soon as I start to compliment Showtime's worker count, it was kind of greedy to go across the map, I will say. With the Stalkers, going to the other side to try to get the damage done. And he finds himself vulnerable to a pretty weak Correct. Like, that was 2 Hellions and a Widowmine. It was not much. I think he got a little overconfident there. It is going to be Disruptor drop. So, instead of a nice, safe, solid PvT build, I will be bringing you guys a very dramatic match with a lot of exciting moves that probably won't help you very much in your latter games unless you get proxy raxed every other game. And don't lie to me. A lot of people are like, but I get cheesed all the time. No, you don't. It just takes 4 minutes for you to lose to cheese and 40 minutes to lose to mech. So you have a biased perspective of how much you get cheesed just because the games are quicker. Though you might get proxy raxed, especially if TY keeps proxy raxing in pro matches like he's been doing. So. Now, the Disruptor, his hotkeys, I really wonder, like, is his 7 hotkey? Nice hit there. Is his 7 hotkey on 7, or has he rebounded? It's not out of the question, but nice damage mitigation there. He's also got the Robo on 0, which almost certainly is rebound, by the way. Disruptor. He might drop it on top of the tank. He's not taking any risks here. Just goes for the shot. Wow, that has to be like one split. It might have been an unsiege on the tank, but that had to be right out of tank range there. That was about as close as you could get without taking a tank hit. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Scouting Ruptor. Oh, Showtime struggling to put the Disruptor in the prism, but puts it together. By the way, if you want to know how these drop pressures are so clean, well, how to drop while moving, stuff like that, just search Starcraft drops guide, and I have, oh, nice double tap there, and I have a guide on all the things you would ever want to know about drops, how to do all those fancy moves, make it look so clean, as opposed to individually loading units. Oh, TY is like, oh no, the tank panics. These shots are getting pretty disgusting. Showtime's making a lot of things happen with these Disruptors here. I mean, you're already on my YouTube video right now. Twitch chat screams no, but after liking and subscribing, you could just pause, go over to the drop scout, and come back with a new appreciation for how much better Showtime is than the rest of us. Scan, spots the third. Showtime knows that's the case, but this is the most important thing. The map is dark and full of Terrans. This is what you'll notice the best, especially defensive Protoss do. As soon as you're going for a third and your angles of attack, well, the angles of potential attack are opened up, vision is paramount. We've got spotting pylons on the right. We've got the watchtowers. On the left side is the warp prism with the Disruptors doing active scouting. Okay, there's an army, there's a third. We see it here. Hopping forward, just gonna maybe exploratory hits. Pops 2, going for the tanks. Doesn't get one out, it's getting a little dicey here. TY is pretty aggressively taking his third, but that's not very surprising. And Showtime has essentially gotten everything else behind. I think we'll see some more vision being focused on the left side because that's about to become more vulnerable. But he does have the spotting pylons on the right. This is actually one of the most important things, because recall is on a long cooldown, and when you're going for a unit composition that's based on a strong army, you usually need a lot of pieces of that army together. You need Colossi and Sentries and a War Prism. Like, you can't split your Colossi one to each base. That just doesn't work. So you need to know what's coming, where it's coming from, and how you need to deal with it before it gets to your front door. I think at this point, Showtime should be moving out a little bit on the map in order to engage an army before tanks could siege. That's the best defense is a good offense. You don't want to be too far out because you don't want to get caught. But at the same time, as you're taking a fourth, you can't get caught flat-footed either. You need those tanks to be sieging further out, and that's why you see the vision is spreading out. It's just a charge lot drop now. Conveniently, he did go for that prism speed, so when you go for prism speed, you have great drops in the future. That means he might be able to get a warp prism into the main. This is Showtime. This entire game has been working off of a pretty solid advantage. As soon as the watchtower, look at that. Just watch them. Honestly, just watch the mini-map Protoss. As soon as the watchtower was taken, Showtime moves out. He's like, the map is dark? Well, no Terrans are allowed on it. He splits away from the watchtower and then brings the army in. But he will not allow there not to be light in the darkness. There is a bit of a vulnerability on this left side, which he's fixing right now. Just, the map vision is intense. Very important. It's working out. He's about to, he now realizes it's mech, by the way. Will there be a change? Another robo. That was the first major realization of mech. So this is his reaction. Immortal Archon charge lot with some Colossi to help against units and then pull back are good. I don't think we'll see more Colossi for quite a while. Even if they are good against Hellions, not nearly as good against tanks. Very expensive. But that map vision, though. That map, I should just have this. Just watch the game. Get back! Get back! No, not like that. Like this. I can't stress it enough, especially with an army that really does need to be all together like this. Like the Colossi, the Archons, it's a team effort here. They can't be going out on their own. If it was more like Blink Stalker, Disruptor, or even like just Blink Charge Lot Archon, you can split off a lot of units, but this is a very composition-based army. Stargate is on the way. Showtime looking to smash this base. At what point does he pull back is the question. He sees the base is happening here. That's a full energy Raven. That anti-armor missile makes things pretty dicey. It's still going okay. He'll use the Warp Prism for another warp in. The Archons looking decent enough so far. Liberator sieging up. The Colossi keeping the command center at arm's reach. He's pressuring TY's 4th while getting essentially the rest of his tech tree. Scouting Immortal. Classic. What? Jimmy! We're selling out later! Like and subscribe. But I especially against a player of TY's caliber, you can't reliably expect to just try to bash your way into his base. There wasn't nearly that much advantage. What he's doing now is trying to keep TY's economy as low as possible while he gets a more late game tech. That means Fleet Beacon. 2 more Stargates. At least I was on top of the Fleet Beacon. You got the idea. Tempest. Mothership eventually. Cannons everywhere so you don't have to use them. Maybe up to like 14, 16 gates. But you keep them on 4 bases maximum. Because the main bases are mounting out. I wouldn't be surprised to see DT blank. But this is aggressive defense here from Showtime. Especially against mech. He needs the siege tanks to be fighting for every single inch. Or maybe for him meter. There's DT blank, which is good at sniping things like planetaries or jumping on tanks. Though I wouldn't expect to see it as a main part of the army composition. A Hellbat drop. What year is it? Incredible anti-armor missile from TY, but Showtime does slip behind the mineral line. Any pressure, like Showtime has 6 bases right now. He doesn't need to worry too much about if one of his bases gets denied. Carriers are the choice. Wow, the ultimate late game. Gonna go double Twilight into Carrier. And Carriers are, when you have an economic lead, you get enough Carriers, eventually you do just win against a player who can't compete. Like, nothing counters mass Carrier particularly well on a low economy. If TY was on even bases and he could just build a bunch of Widow Mines, well, he's building Battlecruisers right now, but Showtime doesn't know that. Showtime is kind of trading Zealots away. He needs more supply for Carriers. But he doesn't want to just give it away because then it becomes super obvious he's tech switching as well. I don't believe the fleet beacon has been scanned. At least Showtime hasn't seen it be scanned, though the Stargate was spotted. Oh, that's oh God. Oh. that makes a Protoss player unhappy. The amount of time he has to spend dealing with this Liberator is unfortunate. He might just go for the base itself. Like, Showtime is getting bolder and bolder with the attacks because he literally needs supply for carriers. You don't want to just lose your ground army, though, because then, one, it becomes super obvious what you're doing, and two, you might actually just outright lose because you don't have enough army supply. The carrier count is up to 4 and counting. I'm pretty sure TY has a strong idea. If he hasn't outright scouted it, he has a very good idea that this carrier switch is coming. Another warp. Storm, plus 3 armor, plus 2 shields. Oh, battlecruiser spotted. Will he add in some Tempests now that battlecruisers have been spotted? Or does he just stick with the mass carrier? Showtime now has the carrier, like half a dozen carriers is the critical mass. That's when the carriers have so many interceptors that they don't just die, and you need to have a direct response to them. And now Showtime's going to leverage those carriers. This is what he's been building up to. TY raising the TPM, but is it going to be too late? Showtime has been building up to this moment. Revealing the carriers and using them ideally to get a significant lead. But TY either scouted or figured it out in time. And suddenly, the carriers have an expiration date, by the way. Showtime's taken all of these bases, but carriers are a rich man's unit. When you have an economic lead and you can afford to continually rebuild those interceptors, and you have the time and space to allow them to rebuild, it takes quite a while to rebuild interceptors. So if they get wiped out, it's not just about the cost, it's about the cost in time. But here comes Showtime, multiple sides. Carriers are scrambled, has to pull back. Zealots traded out. Showtime, he's just doubling down on carriers. He's adding more, 4 at a time. He's target firing down tanks. The command center is actually not that juicy of a target. It's a pretty safe assumption that TY has CCs all over the place. That's a lot of carriers. Is it the critical mass? He's target firing some decent carrier micro. It's a little weird to say, but it is actually pretty important. Where is the army? I'm sure Showtime's wondering, where is the army right now? Yeah, sure, they're a bunch of Hellions. Or Hellbats, whatever. But that's not the main army. Battlecruisers show up looking for Yamatos across the board. The Planetary's holding for now. The command center, the Planetary is holding a little too strongly. The Widowmines might kill the SCVs, but the interceptor count is dwindling. It's a little dangerous there, as we're down to 28 interceptors. So there is some time. Pretty much all of the anti-ground army, but a recall! Showtime punches forward. He trades 1 base for effectively 2, and then cleans up this base trading army. Showtime realizes exactly how much he can lose. Pulls back after doing the damage. Interceptor's building all that time. But now he doesn't have a recall for this base, and he is maxed out, so he can't warp in units, which is rich Protoss problems. If only I could buy a higher supply max, but no, that's not for sale. It is getting a little dicey, but honestly, Showtime kind of playing a little like a Zerg here. Just expanding wherever TY isn't hitting. Those are full energy Templar over there. The Raven, but an anti-armor missile onto the carriers is dangerous. Is there... It helps out with the battlecruisers a lot. I mean, the battlecruisers themselves might be able to hit the carriers. They should be target firing soon. Yamato cannon from downtown. This is getting, like, this is the problem. He's losing so many interceptors. Like, the mineral bank isn't there. At this point, you want to start building Tempest. Like, this army composition isn't doing it. Like, there are so many battlecruisers. Tempests are the direct counter. They're great against massive air units. Interceptors just keep dying. How long... TY is still kind of scrambling. Like, if at some point Showtime is able to break his mining bases, well, yeah, then okay, fine. But the carriers just getting targeted down. Storms are good, but the Thors don't care that much about them. There's a single Immortal helping out, a whole lot. It's a kind of a base trade scenario here. We're really talking about interceptor timings. Recall is off cooldown. He uses it. The battlecruisers. The thing is, there's nothing quite like tactical jump. He uses a couple Yamatos. Showtime is hurting for income. Like, every game I see carriers, almost never are they just terrible. Like, most players don't build carriers when they're a risk. But the mineral bank is not there. There we go. A Tempest is on the way. And Showtime has 84 workers. So it just means his army supply is quite low. Has he overstayed? Has he stayed on the carrier composition for too long? Has the battlecruiser count... He's now leaning on blank stalkers again. I don't think it's so much necessarily the money for interceptors, it's the time to rebuild. Like, if the Terran has enough, then the interceptors die, and essentially for almost a minute, or actually a minute with the interceptor, then you are not at fighting strength. You lose half your interceptors, you can't really meaningfully fight for a while. Oh god, he's warping in DTs. This is high risk. He does have a rich Vespine geyser. He's trying to mine some more gas here as well. He can jump on a planetary. That's a dozen DTs with Blink. And yeah, that can work. I'm so stressed for that, though. Like, that's a lot. I've seen so many games go downhill when you start warping in mass Blink DT. It could be the decider, though. He's starting to bank some money. He's been leaning on the carriers less and less. He's not replacing them as they go down. Is that another cyber core? Oh, he goes for the planetary! The scan isn't in time! TY's too slow! Down it goes! He must not have had... He doesn't even have a scan! He can't have it... Like, there's no way he wouldn't have scanned by now. Oh, no! Okay, well, there you go! It tears things open! 16 LCVs slaughtered! Oh, the Blink DTs! Now you see them, and now you most definitely don't! TY loses his planetary. Suddenly now the carriers find an opportunity. All he has to do is deny the mining and then recall and defend his bases. TY losing so much in so little time. Storms working on the Widow Mines. Tempest helping to take out Ravens. Workers being slaughtered, but Showtime has a bank to fall back on and he still has bases intact. The DTs aren't even dead. He blinks onto the tanks and he kills several. I can't, like, of all the things, it's not the carriers, it's not the Tempests, it's the Blink DTs. And such an expensive tactic. Like, and you can warp them in en masse. But it is the decider here. Like, the Blink DTs broke what was becoming something of a stalemate. Where the carriers and Tempest just couldn't deal with the battlecruisers. Like, TY, look at his gas. Now, Showtime doesn't know for sure where TY is at economically, but he knows it ain't good because Showtime is expanding to 2 bottom right bases. Oh, the rocks are so much in the way there. 3 Nexa in the production tab. Is there much left here? The charge lot's going forward. The storm's coming up. He's moving in for the kill. Maybe a little preemptively. Yamato's from downtown. Blinkstalker's moving forward. He has to jump away at close range. At this point, Showtime is looking to bludgeon him with his economic hammer. I don't know if TY... The DTs? The DTs, the Cape Boys. What a play. There just isn't enough. Showtime now confident in his ability to outspend TY. Especially now he sees no base there. At this point, the writing's on the wall. The mules are the only thing sustaining. All he has to do is win one more fight. He doesn't even need to win a fight, he just needs to not lose. It's a lot of Thors. Army of TY is still pretty scary. Probably because so many SCVs died, his supply is still so high. The battlecruisers are dealing with the other attack. Ooh, Yamato's finding Archons. But Showtime is fine, looking for weak points. Oh, he blunts on top. He's going for the tanks. It's getting more and more difficult. Will there be a tactical jump? Okay, Showtime. Like, maybe, simmer down a little. Like, a little bit. Not a lot. Like, just slow it down, like, 20% here. And he's building disruptors, which are technically a Thor counter. He's back to carriers. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Showtime. He's going to go for this. He's really playing like a man with way more money. And he is a man with way more money, but it's still... don't... The battlecruisers are coming back. He's killing bases. I can almost feel the Yamatos. He sees the battlecruisers on the minimap, I'm sure. Like, the income is still ridiculously heavily in his favor. TY, like, you can see TY has nothing. Showtime's on all the bases. He's starting to find out a little bit, though. Showtime. It's a lot of Blinkstalkers. Well, this is definitely a brutal war of attrition. It doesn't need to be quite that brutal, but it is. Oh, whoa. Big mistake by TY not to do any Yamatos there, because that essentially means they're going to die to Blinkstalkers. He scans. TY getting... That's almost a GG scan, to be honest. It's not quite there, but it's a... I don't know. Another tank dies. He has 32 Stalkers. Disruptors hit Thors. Good hits. The second one, not as good. TY, this is the last army. I bet that was like the natural orbital. Yep. Oh my god, TY only has 1 base left. That was actually a huge snipe. Little does Showtime know. I mean, he might know. That is desperation. Out of the GSL Champion. Showtime, like, one particularly bad fight away from being broke. But TY is already broke, is the problem. So, Showtime definitely played pretty fast and loose with the carriers. But it will pay off in the end. The aggressive defense early on, constantly leaning on TY's bases. A back and forth recall match. Are we... Oh, wait. Well, is it not over yet? Are we going to do a full base trade here? DTs. Oh, there are no orbitals! There are no orbitals! Oh, no! The DT! And it's all over. The Battlecruisers themselves cannot win the day. Showtime wins the war of attrition. Now, that was part of a larger series of TSL 5. Make sure to check that out. But hopefully you enjoyed that breakdown. Hopefully you can take away something. I think that ended up, instead of being the, this is how you play a solid defensive Protoss versus Terran, instead it was just a dramatic game. But hopefully you liked it. Subscribe and ring the bell as well, so you can see more like this, completely unlike this. Just so much Starcraft all the time, everywhere. We're a decade in, and we're not slowing down. Thank you for watching. Good luck.